whatever we expect with confidence becomes our own self-fulfilling prophecy.
In the short run of what does it mean for Bitcoin's path, if U.S. true interest expense is 105% of receipts and we don't print the money, the dollar is going to go up and up and up and up and up and up, and rates are going to go up and up and up and up and up, and stocks are going to go down and down and down and down, and Bitcoin's probably going to go down and down and down until, the system implodes. And now somewhere on that path, people go, oh God, they're not going to save the banks. I need to put my money in Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin probably sort of pulls out of that and then goes to new highs. But that's why I say the importance is the path.
So this is what Luke is talking about. You can see this is the DXY chart. And what happened is, this is very basic technical analysis. So this isn't a video on TA, but just to show you support, resistance. You broke out of this long-term channel that goes all the way back to January 2023, right? You were bouncing around and now you came out of it, used that as support, and you broke out of this channel to the upside. So the DXY is very bullish right now. Now that's not inflation. What that is other currencies are collapsing right now. They're going to garbage because of all the tariffs that are going to come, all of the geopolitical things that are happening right now. So the DXY continues to look strong, and this puts a lot of pressure on stocks, on crypto, on pretty much everything.
Where private liquidity is so high that Fartcoin has $1 billion market cap, the U.S. government is not covering not covering interest expense, gross interest, plus entitlements out of receipts. Now remember what I just said. If anytime you get to that, if they don't weaken the dollar, print money, cap yields, however they want to do it, there's a lot of different ways they can do it. What's going to happen? The dollar's going to go up and up and up, and yields are going to go up and up and up. So far, check and check, right? We got DXY at 109, going up and up and up. And we got 10-year yields going up and up and up and up, which a lot of market participants are going, don't worry, if they strengthen the dollar enough, money will flow to bonds. No, they won't. They won't. They're going to crash the Treasury market. Yeah. When they crash the Treasury market, if they let the dollar keep rising, which will happen because true interest expense is crowding out the global dollar system because we can't even afford true interest expense without printing the money. That's the decision point, right? Okay.
We are witnessing an epic chess match. What's happening right now is the U.S. government has to pay their entitlements, that Social Security, welfare, all of the spending that the government has done. They simply have to borrow the money from the public in the form of U.S. treasuries. So a U.S. treasury is an IOU. The government borrows money from the public. If the public doesn't want treasuries, if everyone's topped up with treasuries, what happens? Well, the price of treasuries drops and the yield starts spiking. And the Fed has to step in to control these yields spiking. And that is something that puts a tremendous amount of pressure on inflation. So to bypass this, the chess move is to have the U.S. government pass stablecoin regulations. Stablecoin providers will have to back their stablecoins with U.S. 10-year or U.S. 30-year treasuries, and that will be collateral for their stablecoins. Now, this is genius because the Fed doesn't put the treasuries on their balance sheet. The stablecoin providers will put treasuries on their balance sheet, like Ripple, RLUSD, Circle USDC. That will be backed with U.S. 10-year treasuries and putting pressure on the yield to move down instead of up.
I don't. I think we're going to see it go significantly higher. I think things like a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the United States, and it's not just the United States. I think, when countries around the world look at the election, look at some of the campaign promises, and now look at what the Trump administration is already doing, I think we're starting to see other countries and even states. I spoke to folks from Texas recently that are looking to build a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So I think we're going to see it go significantly higher. But I'm definitely, I'm a former prosecutor, not a guy who's going to necessarily make predictions on the ultimate price of Bitcoin.
We should have a larger conversation about this, given your former prosecutorial role and the fact that there's a whole bunch of prosecutors who think that Bitcoin gets involved in a lot of crime. But we can discuss that another time. All right.
Public elected officials are outperforming major hedge funds. They're trading stocks based on insider knowledge, and it has caught the attention of the public. And in order to appease the public, we're seeing politicians like Joe Biden try to clamp down on elected officials trading the stock market. But they have never said anything about crypto assets. Both Democrats and Republicans are loaded up on various crypto assets, the majority being Bitcoin. And it just so happens that the government is trying to pass a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So they have every incentive to vote yes because it's going to pump their bags. And it's not just Bitcoin, it's an array of different regulations from stable coins to cross-border payments. As soon as they pass these regulations, a lot of wealth is going to travel from the old system into the new. And eventually we're going to see all equities tokenized. We're going to see everything of value tokenized. And it just so happens they're already positioned. They make it law for public officials to dump their equities and buy crypto assets.
The United States and the United Kingdom will not allow 10-year Treasury yields and 10-year gilt yields to be priced by the market beyond a certain point. Mm-hmm. That liquidity will come in. And that's very, very powerful knowledge. It tells me, great, like Bitcoin can move up and down, it can be volatile, but there's going to be liquidity provided to keep those bond markets functioning. And there's nothing more bullish for Bitcoin than that.
U.S. 10-year treasuries, the yield is moving higher and higher. And what that means is people are selling U.S. 10-year treasuries early on, and it's putting sell pressure on the price. And there's an inverse relationship with the yield. As the yield gets higher and higher, what Luke is saying is that the UK government and the US government will not let it get above a certain point. Once it gets above that certain point, they're going to step in and they're going to start buying all of the treasuries, all of the UK bonds in order to tame the yield. Now, the yield has a tremendous impact on the economy. So that's why the Fed is lowering rates, raising rates. It's because it controls how many homes are bought. It's the rate to borrow money. So if money costs a lot, then of course there's going to be less economic activity. If it costs nothing to borrow, then there's going to be a lot more economic activity. So you have high inflation, and at the same time, the interest rates are creeping up there. So the ace up their sleeves is crypto. It's the stablecoin market. They start granting privileges to all these different stablecoin providers. Then those providers are going to go into the market and start loading up on treasuries. This is going to bring the yield down a little bit. And that is the grand plan. Now, I made a video a while back about Tether, and I got an extreme reaction. People keep repeating that Tether's a scam. And at one point, it probably was. However, Cantor Fitzgerald is Tether's bank, and they have a direct line with the Fed, meaning if you try to liquidate $1 trillion worth of Tether, the Fed is going to make sure all those obligations are filled. Tether rugging $200 billion in the market is nothing to this grand plan. They have a plan to start tokenizing debt. Now, this is a way for the public to use tokenized debt as cash versus the Federal Reserve stepping in, putting it on their balance sheet and raising inflation. This is genius. And I think it's small potatoes to assume that Tether is going to steal $200 billion when the U.S. debt market can be tokenized. Tether failing would be a huge confidence shock for the entire stablecoin market, and that's no good for business.
Nothing stops this train. Nothing.
And the real question next is sort of what happens from a policy standpoint. We've heard a bunch of different suggestions to include a strategic Bitcoin reserve. But I think what I'm really most excited about is even beyond Bitcoin. You know, over the last few months, we have seen fintechs like Stripe and CashApp and others across the ecosystem use stable coins at scale for payments, right? You know, we're actually seeing the technology used. I think Bitcoin traditionally has been this investment mechanism or store of value, But what we're really seeing is people start to use the technology for cross-border payments, for remittances, to buy things. And I think that's when we're really going to see this ecosystem grow when we talk about digital assets. So I think on the one hand, you have Bitcoin, which has been, I think, this really incredible success story, and even in more bolstered by the election. But I think what we're really seeing, and I'm most excited about, is the technology being used in a meaningful way for cross-border payments and beyond.
Last night, Brad Garlinghouse was tweeting that he broke bread with President Trump. Stu Alderati, Brad Garlinghouse, President Trump, discussing crypto innovation in the United States. Everything is going to be tokenized. This is what this channel has been talking about since it started, and everything's coming to fruition slowly. Now, some things I definitely got wrong. The entire CBDC element of this is no longer a Fed coin, but what we're going to see is the private sector fill the role. Now, we may see something in the wholesale market, but it looks like stablecoins will be the CBDC of the United States. And what's interesting about this is on many accounts, the CBDC would actually be better because it would force policy. It would force what are the privacy laws surrounding a CBDC. But instead, they're going to mandate the private sector to fill the role, and they're going to tell the private sector what to do. And Circle, Ripple, they're not going against the U.S. government. Whatever the orders are, they're going to carry them out, plain and simple.
Introducing Project Dama 2, a transformative, multi-chain digital fund servicing solution to unlock new fund innovations and distribution at scale. Deutsche Bank, driving innovation as part of the Monetary Authority of Singapore's Project Guardian, collaborates with Memento Blockchain and Interop Labs on the minimal viable product. Memento Blockchain, using ZK Sync's cutting-edge zero-knowledge technology, has created Memento ZK Chain, a powerful, secure, and scalable blockchain. With features like soul-bound token,
a fund module is a smart contract that implements a certain functionality. For example, for fund administration, compliance, financial and regulatory reporting, etc. The rebalance module adds the ability to rebalance the fund, over time changing its allocation. The management fee module allows the fund manager to earn a fee. Once ready, click the Save button to save to the database without deploying to the blockchain, allowing for further checks, for example, compliance checks.
This was part of Project Guardian called Project Dama, which included Deutsche Bank, Memento Blockchain, and Axliar. It looks like Memento Blockchain has another token called DEXTF. And the purpose of this token is to create funds. And it looks like in the demo, they're showing that the user has to pay DEXTF tokens in order to create the fund. So it's obvious that the DEXTF token is integrated into Project Dama. And this is a very low market cap coin. I don't know what will happen with it, but I just figured I would point this out to everybody. Now, the last video I did on Project Guardian didn't get as many views, so I use that as an indicator to see what people are interested in. So I just figured I'd add this little tidbit. I'll add in Project Guardian information into my normal videos. Yet I have said over and over again that there is no right or wrong in the universe. A thing is not intrinsically right or wrong. A thing simply is. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. If you enjoy content like this, please consider joining my Patreon or my ghost site, dmjr.ghost.io.